Hello, my bills. As you know, the Anniversary Masquerade is currently ongoing with the extension, and with it brings special event abilities for both killers and survivors. These event abilities, of course, can be quite strong on their own, but if paired with certain perks, things can get a little interesting. So after reviewing some of these abilities and specific perks, I've decided to inform you gamers of the best perks to run during the event, as well as how to counter these perks if you're playing on the other side. Additionally, I'll let you know how to counter commonly used perks I've seen being run in the event as well. Firstly, these are just some ideas of perks or perk builds that I've seen during the event that I noticed doing well compared to other perks, since they synergize well with the event abilities and mechanics. Now, for Survivor, the first build is Chemical Trap, Fixated, Smash Hit, and Virgil. Firstly, I noticed an increase with players using Chemical Trap during the event, and it seems to be because the perk works if the killer uses the remote brake on the pallet that has the trap on it. Smash Hit works with the anniversary pallets on top of the normal ones, so if you ever need to make distance and the killer uses the stun reduction, it can help you get away quicker. I added Virgil on this build since I've seen players pair it with Smash Hit and other exhaustion perks like Sprint Burst, Lithe, Derogatory, or Derogatory. By the way, I have seen a dramatic increase in Derogatory usage, which I should be happy about, I suppose, since it is a pretty good perk, but it can be very luck-based sometimes. I put Fixated on here, since it's a pretty good perk overall, in my opinion, but you can switch it up with other perks like Windows or something. How killers can counter this perk build is by either running certain perks themselves, or utilizing their killer powers or masquerade abilities. Perks that can counter Chemical Trap are like Thwack, to see where the survivor went after breaking the pallet, and pair it with batteries included, to catch up if survivors run to an area with finished gens. With exhaustion perks, the killer only needs to run perks such as Languid Touch, Blood Echo, Mindbreaker, or Genetic Limits, as well as another one. Though of course Virgil can help with recovery from their negative effects. Additionally, Zen Tactics can also help strategize against a survivor running Windows for opportunity, since it works the same way. And now on to the second build. The second build is Background Player, For the People, Buckle Up, and Windows of Opportunity. This build works great for rescuing teammates with pallet saves, and if the killer notices you and they leave the survivor down, you can pick them up using For the People and Buckle Up to make sure they get away safely. Windows, I believe, lets you see the masquerade pallets during matches. However, I have not used that perk or any of these perks because I tend to run the same 4 perks every match. Yes, I die quite often, but it is what it is. Killers can counter pallet saves by using a pallet break build with Spirit Fury, Enduring, or even with Hex Blood Favor, which I actually happened to see during a match that actually works on blocking masquerade pallets. So surprise! I was surprised. For them to encounter a background player, they can bring in Forced Hesitation and Languid Touch, as well as Fire Up or Forever Entwined. One tip for the event is that several builds are not that useful during the event, so you shouldn't bring them in. Now next, for Killer. This first perk build is one that I believe you should do well to help with being aggressive towards survivors if you're struggling to apply pressure. These perks are Make a Choice, Devour of Hope, Barbecue and Chili, and Scourge Hook Floods of Rage. These are heavily hooked based perks, so I don't recommend if it's not easy to secure hooks at the beginning of the match, but it will help with middle to end game pressure if used wisely. Make a Choice with Devour is pretty strong with pairing together, but during the event it's easier to hook someone far away using the remote hook ability. In doing so, it will activate Barbecue and Chili, so you can keep the pressure on survivors that are far away, and if they are saving, they will be in grave danger. When unhooking someone on a Scourge Hook, not only will they be exposed, but their aura will be revealed to you. Survivors can counter this using the perk builds I talked about earlier, to prevent hooks and stall the killer during chase. Now the second build is Hex Blood Favor, Spirit Fury, Forever Entwined, and Enduring. This build is more chase-based and doesn't apply pressure to generators or survivors outside of chase, so it can be a struggle to pressure all survivors if a chase doesn't end quickly. Blood Favor protects and aids you during chases to end them quicker, or for picking up down survivors if they have altruistic teammates. Spirit Fury can counter normal pallets to get rid of them quicker and can synergize with the stun reduction ability or Enduring. Of course, you can also switch out Enduring for Brute Force or Fire Up if you want to break pallets faster. Fire Up with Forever Entwined can work hand in hand to secure hooking a survivor quicker before the teammate can save them with pallets or flashlight saves. This build can be countered by survivors if they're running the perk builds from earlier, as well as if they pre-drop pallets. Utilize window loops and keep a distance when in chase, and by prioritizing generators when not in chase. A bonus build I have is Barbecue and Chili, Friends Till the End, Awakened Awareness, and Starstruck. This build is much more for hooking and keeping tabs on player locations when carrying survivors. Plus, it can make it easier to find and chase survivors even when hooking someone, though it works better for killers who know how to apply overall pressure without the use of perks to aid them. Extra tips for the Masquerade is that Scourge hooks are easier to utilize because of the remote hook ability, so I recommend using them if you have a Scourge hook build you like to run. Additionally, Scourge Hook Pain Resonance can be sort of countered if the killer hooks a player using a remote hook, since it gives a second to transport the player to the hook. In doing so, it will give a noise indicator, and when it does, if the survivor lets go of their gen when the sound activates, it won't make the survivor scream and reveal the location of the gen. Of course, the gen will still lose some progress, but it's something, mostly. Well, that's all from me in this video. Props and thanks towards my thumbnail artist Daisy. Please check out her channel as well, which I'll leave in the description. And jingle on, gamers!